7 days, one island, and endless adventure. From thundering waterfalls, towering jagged mountains, black sand beaches, stunning blue glaciers, and volcanic landscapes that feel like another planet. I've just completed the ultimate road trip around Iceland's legendary ring road. Battling the elements, chasing the northern lights, and discovering some of the most breathtaking places on Earth. This wasn't just a trip, it was an experience we'll never forget in the land of fire and ice. In this video, I'm taking you with me every step of the way around the epic ring road of Iceland. You'll see the highs, the challenges, and the moments that truly take your breath away. This is my Iceland ring road adventure. Myself and my best friend Ben returned to Iceland earlier this year. We decided to return to Iceland in February because we love to see the northern lights and we love the unique landscape that Iceland offers in the winter. We arrived in Keflavik and went to our car rental company. There are many ways for to travel around Iceland. You could book one of the many tour companies, or you can hire a car, 4x4, a camper van, or an ordinary car. We chose a Suzuki Vitara, the cost of which I'll put at the end of the video. What you should know about car rental in Iceland is that it's recently changed, and there's now a standing charge, almost like a tax, that you pay per mile, or you pay a standing charge to the rental company for each day that you use the car. We worked out it cost around about 8 to 12 euros per day. From Keflavik we then headed up towards Stokkur Giza and spent a little bit of time watching Stokkur erupt. It was a very cold day and we spent around about an hour here. The weather really was on our side, and although it was sunny, the temperature was around -10 to -12. Stokkur erupts every 5 to 10 minutes or so. If you hang around long enough, you'll see some great eruptions. Some of them are fairly lackluster, others are very powerful, and the water shoots up around about 20 to 30 meters in the air. From Stokkur we then drove the short distance up to Gullfoss. It was insanely windy here at Gullfoss. We didn't get much in the way of good footage because it was so windy. It was difficult to stand upright and the temperature was so cold. Gullfoss itself was primarily frozen over, which was pretty awesome for to see. We then decided to take a fairly long drive down to the south coast and go to the plane wreck, which I visited for the first time around about 6 years ago. Ben hadn't been to the plane wreck before, so we decided to make use of the good weather and the rest of the day and head down to the plane wreck. Fortuitously we caught the last bus of the day, but it was rather expensive.
Right, so we've just got here at the plane wreck, and because it's so late in the day we decided to take the bus, the shuttle, and the guy said, "Oh, this is the last one of the day." Oh, brilliant, good stuff. So he flashed his card reader, and well, I thought it was 750 per person. So Ben's just showed us the receipt, and it's how much, Ben?
About 75,000 per person.
It's about $75,000 per person. It is about 38 quid for the both of us for that short journey. Is it worth it? Walk, I should say. Quite a short drive. It's expensive that for a coach trip quickly to this plane wreck. We paid it, unfortunately, but there we go.
In hindsight, it was a good decision to get the bus. The temperature was dropping, the sun was about to set, and the cold still got through your gloves and bit at your fingers.
So we've just arrived at a hotel in Selfos, Hotel South Coast. We're in room 404. The hotel's lovely. Very nice. Very nice.
Beds feel good. Nice tea and coffee. Whoa. Whoa, bathroom's lush. Nice. It's spotlessly clean. Oh, look at the sink. Yeah, very nice room. Hotel South Coast in Selfos. Looks perfect. We'll be sampling the breakfast tomorrow as well. And hopefully we'll get to see the Northern Lights tonight. They also do a Northern Lights wake-up call, which I think is a really nice touch. But yeah, beautiful and clean, nice and modern. So the room itself was 128 for the night for two of us sharing. It's twin beds. But love that they've got all of this in the tea and coffee tray. These are from Costco. The little Nespresso pods. The little touches here in the bathroom for hand soap. It's just lush. It's really, really nice. Well worth the money, this. Day 2. We are just packing to head off on a very busy day 2. We're just about to head down to breakfast. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get to see the Northern Lights last night, even though they were very briefly visible and they just weren't strong enough to be seen despite being clear, which was a bit disappointing, but it gave us time for the recharge with batteries. So today we've got a really busy day. We're heading all the way along the south coast. We're going to stop at Skogafoss, ICELAND for stop off briefly in Vic Yoda Cave, which I'm really excited about. We were going to stop off at Svartifoss, but it's a 90-minute round trip and that's in good weather, so we're just going to bypass that one, unfortunately. And then we'll head off to Diamond Beach, Glacier Lagoon, which is always a great treat. Then on to Hoffen and Vesterhorn. We're hoping for Vesterhorn with brilliant Northern Lights tonight, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Just checking out of South Coast Hotel here in Selfos. This is a fantastic little hotel behind me, right in Selfos town centre. We stayed there last night on our first night here in Iceland, and the hotel couldn't have been better. The rooms were beautiful, modern, clean, beautifully designed. They had everything in the room that you need. Tea, coffee making facilities, hairdryer, fridge, iron, the whole lot. And we came down to breakfast this morning. There was a wide range of hot and cold breakfast, fruits, cold meats, pastries, cereals, English breakfast, tea, coffee, juices, the whole lot, fresh fruit, anything you want, it was there, and it was beautiful as well. The staff are lovely, really friendly, and we're both blown away by this hotel. So it's South Coast Hotel in the town of Selfos. Now today, we've got a long journey to Hoffen, where the Vesterhorn mountain range is. We've got numerous stops on the way, a pretty action-packed day. It's very cold here this morning. I think it's -12, and by God it is cold, but it's nice, clear, sunny, which is all you can want here in Iceland. Just waiting for Ben to pull around with the car. We're going to go and grab a pastry from the local bakery, where we've been to previously in visits gone by. Selfos, I really wanted to have a little walk around last night and show you the town, but because we were tired, we were late getting here, we just wanted to get something to eat, relax in the room and look out for the Northern Lights. So the town of Selfos is a great little stop if you are planning a trip here to Iceland. It's got loads of supermarkets, loads of little shops, loads of takeaways if you want quick food, like this beautiful hotel behind us. There's plenty of places to stay. It's just a lush little town, Selfos. We really like it. I'm sad to be leaving this morning, but on to Hoffen. And here's Ben. Here's our little Suzuki Vitara, which is a canny little car. you are in Selfoss, make sure you stop off at JK Bakery. The pastries are absolutely to die for and the staff are super friendly. My favourite is the cinnamon swirl, Ben's was the cheese Danish. Our itinerary then took us on a long drive along the south coast, along to ICELAND Foss. It was a stunning day, beautiful crystal blue skies. Some nice stop-offs along the way. You'll see the American bus diners. They're always worth visiting. Very quirky. There's one in Hella. Stopping off at ICELAND Foss in the early morning, the crowds weren't too bad, the sun was about to poke above the horizon and it was great to see this stunning waterfall with the huge cathedral of icicles adorned around the cliffs next to it. So here at ICELAND Foss, the walkway behind me used to be able to take you behind the waterfall and used to come out the other end here. But because it's snowy, icy and dangerous, they've closed it off, rightly so. But also because of those huge icicles here, which are about 10 to 15 feet high, each one of them, if one of those fell off and hit you, you're going to die. So they've closed it off so you can't go behind the waterfall, which makes perfect sense. But it looks pretty cool here in the snow today. There's Ben, getting his fix. Prior to visiting Iceland, I got permission from the Icelandic government to use my drone for videography. The drone gave unique perspectives of all of the previous locations that we'd been to in Iceland, including ICELAND Foss. The footage that you can see here was absolutely jaw-dropping to see from the air. I'd done it respectfully whenever flying in Iceland, away from crowds, and whenever there was a risk of disturbing any wildlife, I simply didn't fly. If you are visiting Iceland and you have a drone, it's worth contacting the Icelandic government prior to arriving in Iceland to get permission, just in case things have changed. We then headed further along the south coast of Skogafoss. Driving in Iceland is never boring. The roads offer spectacular vistas. Jagged mountains in front of you, lava fields either side of you, crossing beautiful blue rivers, glaciers, and icebergs the size of towns drifting off the coast. Skogafoss never disappoints. It's usually fairly busy, but it's worth it when you see this stunning waterfall and the Skoga River frozen in front of you. When you're here in the winter, you'll be able to hear icicles dislodging themselves from the cliffs in loud cracks and booms and hitting the ground behind. Be sure to wear your crampons because it can get treacherously icy here. If you visit Skogafoss, it really is worth taking the very short walk to the right of Skogafoss to the beautiful Cavernafoss waterfall through this small canyon with a very easy walk. You're rewarded with this stunning waterfall. We didn't visit this on any of our previous trips, and it turned out to be one of our favourite waterfalls on this trip to Iceland.
Here at Cavernafoss, and it's actually one of the best waterfalls we've been to. It's quite quiet, it's stunning as you can see. Really, really nice to get down here. Now, down this bank here, and where you can see Ben where my thumb is, all of that leading up to the back of the waterfall is horrifically icy. And even with crampons, it's really, really slippery. And I decided not to go just simply because it seemed too dangerous. Ben did, but I was...
Oh, the rainbow?
What?
You think it's not like crampons?
No,
I got two nice pictures of crampons.
He done it with crampons, but I couldn't.
Moving on from Cavernafoss, we had to plough on with the itinerary. We then headed towards Vic, but we didn't stop off at Black Sand Beach unfortunately, because in February this year the Black Sand Beach was eroded and washed away due to heavy storms and the big seas. But Black Sand Beach is a good stop off if you're in Vic.
So we're just passing through Vic. We normally like stopping in Vic because you've got the church, you've got the Black Sand Beach, there's a couple of nice places to stop and have something to eat. But on a pretty tight schedule today, we've got to get to Yoda Cave, then to Glacier Lagoon, stop for something to eat. We're going to stop at the Katla lava fields. Hopefully they're not covered in snow so you can see the nice green moss. But Vic is always lush for the stopping, and yeah, it's a little bit crap that we can't stop, but we've been here a few times before and we need to see other places, so we've got to stick to the itinerary.
When we parked up here at Yoda Cave, it was around about a 20-minute hike in the snow. It was a fairly easy walk, but the snow did get quite deep at times. In the spring or in the summer, you're able to drive your 4x4 all the way along and park up outside of Yoda Cave, bypassing that need for a long hike. But if you want to stretch your legs, it's not a bad walk, and this one was quite refreshing for to get out of the car after spending such a long time driving.
Yoda Cave. Yes, the resistance. Yoda!
I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I decided to have a little bit of fun here with AI. Stupidly, we forgot to refuel in Vic, and we had to coast to the next town, just making it to the petrol station.
I've just opened the fuel tank and it's just gone desperate for a drink.
Yeah. So myself and Ben have just had a beautiful meal here at Cafe Horned in Hoffen, and I got the lobster sandwich, which was absolutely incredible, really nice. Ben got the reindeer burger, but we shared half of each other's sandwiches, and yeah, they were fantastic, really nice, very reasonably priced. We've had to wolf down our meal and we're going to head back and check into the hotel. I think it's Hotel Hoffen we're staying at, because the Northern Lights are out, they're visible, so we want to get checked in, ready, and then go to Westerhorn for to try and see the Northern Lights. So hopefully we show you a video now of the Northern Lights, and there's Ben. So we're en route to Westerhorn Mountain, and I'm looking out the car window and the sky's just green, beautiful. So it's going to take about 20 minutes to get there. Just hope that we can see it in time. Wow, that's amazing. Even with the streetlights of the town, Hoffen, you can still see the green band of light across the sky. So you can see a bit of aurora through the clouds there. You know, lovely view of Westerhorn. After a brilliant night of watching the Northern Lights, we headed back to the hotel. Hotel Hoffen was nice but basic. The breakfast was lovely and the staff were very friendly. It was around average for the price that we were paying, around about £100 to £120 a night. We headed off early back along the south coast towards Diamond Beach and Glacier Lagoon. We doubled back on ourselves because we didn't have the time to see Diamond Beach and Glacier Lagoon the day previous, simply because when you're driving around Iceland you see some spectacular sights that you've just got to stop and spend some time at. So just arrived at Diamond Beach. We're past some lovely reindeers on the way here. Ben spotted them just off the roadside, so we're able to pull in and get a quick couple of snaps from a distance of those reindeer. Diamond Beach, there isn't a great deal of ice on the beach compared to previous years that I've been here. Still some, you can see a glint in the sun there, which is nice, so I'm going to hopefully get the drone up and see what we get at Diamond Beach. Diamond Beach is a place that you can spend so much time at, watching the waves roll over the icebergs washing up on the beach, watching seals playing about in the Atlantic, and looking at all of the amazing carved pieces of ice scattered along the beach. Alright, so me and Ben have just spent some time at Diamond Beach. There isn't a great deal of ice on the beach at the minute because Glacier Lagoon is frozen over. So I think it's preventing some of the icebergs that are being carved off the glacier coming out into the Atlantic. But there are some really nice bergs on the beach. Previous years this was absolutely covered. It's a beautiful morning though. Again, next stop is Glacier Lagoon, just a few minutes drive away. So, temperature this morning, -10 today.
Yeah.
-10 today, and you can really feel it on your fingers even though you've got gloves on. It's biting. Just arrived at Glacier Lagoon and it's pretty stunning. The icebergs over in the distance are such an amazing blue colour. All the way around you can see seals just resting on the ice. It's quite busy considering it's 10 in the morning. Frustratingly though, there's no vans open for a hot drink or anything to eat. So we're gonna have a little wander around, get some footage, and then try and grab some breakfast. So here at Glacier Lagoon, you've got the glacier right in the top
corner there, and that's breaking off into this estuary, and all of these icebergs here are then funneling down to the river here under the bridge and into the Atlantic in the distance. Now this was quite frozen over yesterday, so it's melted a little bit. There's tons of seals, you can't even count them, there's that many. There's some over there, there's loads in the water, and there's a line of them just over there in the distance. It is fabulous, this place, it really is. The colour of the ice in the distance is stunning blue.
Now it was time for to head back towards Vesterhorn to try and get some images of the mountain before heading up the East Fjords. As you approach Vesterhorn and the East Fjords, the landscape changes and becomes very dramatic, very ominous, very mountainous.
That's Vesterhorn's little cafe. We've just been in there for cheese and ham toasty and a coffee because we missed breakfast this morning because we're out so early. Alright, so this is the access to Vesterhorn. You've got to pay for entrance. If the cafe is closed on an evening, then there's an automatic ticket machine outside that you have to input your card details. You get a QR code on that, and unfortunately you can't pass that on to anybody else. If we go to Vesterhorn now and go out, just say, go back into the cafe for a coffee, that can't be used again, and it's what, about £13 in total for entrance, so it's not cheap. Okay, so here we are at Vesterhorn this morning. This is where we were last night for the Northern Lights. It's proper windy now, it's coming in cloudy and snowing, so we're going to try and get the best pictures we can with the weather. Me and Ben have just been taking selfies in front of Vesterhorn, but it's ridiculously windy, so cold, it's snowing. I wanted to get some drone footage, but it's just too windy, it's too risky with the drone. Same as earlier at Glacier Lagoon, I really wanted to get the drone up to look at the icebergs, but there's too many seals around and I didn't want to disturb them. I think that would have been pretty bad if I'd done that, so yeah. We're heading off from Vesterhorn now and heading up the East Fjords. Here we go.
When you pass through the tunnel which links Vesterhorn and the south coast to the East Fjords, the mood changes, the landscape changes, the roads are very quiet, you very rarely pass another car, but it's serenely beautiful.
We've just arrived at Valdes Lighthouse. Just behind where it's so windy. I was hoping to get the drone up to get some footage of the lighthouse. Look, that stunning mountain range behind me. But it's far too windy. I didn't want to risk it with the drone. It's just one of those things. You do an expensive bit of kit, and I don't want to risk it just for a photo when I'm getting some really good of the frozen. Oh, mountain range. I mean, that to me is a pretty good mountain range. And those ponds in front, I mentioned to it. The lighthouse is good, it's nice. And when you come into this site on the eastern fjords, it's just a little road taking into the lighthouse. It's, for once, free to park. There is no parking charge. Nice little stop off that mountain range. It's probably one of my favourites so far. But it's time to get back in the car because it's so filthy cold and windy.
Easterhorn, and specifically this image here, is one of my favourite images taken on this entire trip. Who the fuck is this? So we just came to this little village, this little town for a pit stop in the East Fjords. It's a gorgeous little village. Just driving through it, it reminds us a little bit of a place at home called Craster. I've just been on the harbour. We're not spending much time here, but it is a nice little stop off. It is called Ivoga. I know I'm probably murdering these names of the towns. Ivoga in the Eastern Fjords. Beautiful. Surrounded by lovely mountains. Looks like it's got some really nice places to eat. Houses look lovely. It's really nice. If we had more time, I think we would stay here, but we've got to get up to Eaglesteer before dark because we're quite tired from today's drive. But hopefully we'll get some Northern Lights tonight. That would be really good. But I think we'll both need an early night for to recharge the batteries. And then tomorrow we are en route to Arcuri, and we're going to be staying in Arcuri for a couple of days. Right, so we've made it to Flugafoss, right up in the East Fjords. Right, so me and Ben, we've just gotten to Flugafoss and it is like the back of beyond up here. We can't really see any decent signposting. We can see the waterfall in the distance. It's frozen over, but we can't see any clear paths for to get there, and it's too risky to just go off the beaten track. You could end up in all sorts of trouble. So we're going to put the drone up and have a little look to see if we can get at least a glimpse of Flugafoss, so it's not an entirely wasted journey. It is nice being here though, because it's completely and utterly silent. The weather was starting to close in and we still had a mammoth drive ahead to get to Eaglesteer. It started to snow. It was dark, we were tired, and the drive was long. We just wanted to get to the hotel and unwind. There was little chance of any northern lights due to the weather forecast, but it was nice to sit in this beautiful restaurant in the hotel and have a beautiful pizza before heading back to our room, relaxing and planning our next day's itinerary, where we would head towards the north and an area that myself and Ben were particularly excited about, Varton. Hotel Velasquez, where we stayed in Eel Store, was lovely. Again, the price was around average what we paid throughout the entire trip. Breakfast was lovely, and the restaurant within the hotel, Glod, served some wonderful food last night, and the breakfast was nice. The room was basic, but it had everything in that we needed: a TV, plenty of charging points, tea and coffee making facilities, a lovely bathroom, clean towels, a lovely shower, and the restaurant Glod, which was situated in the hotel, was a treat. If you do visit Eel Store, I would highly recommend staying here at Hotel Velasquez. So we're just leaving Eel Store. It's 9:15 in the morning. We've got a busy day planned. We're going to Studleygill Canyon, to the Varton area, to get some waterfalls and volcanic craters areas, and finishing off in ICELAND. We might go to one of the spas. What's it called? Forest Spa?
Forest Lagoon.
Forest Lagoon tonight. We might go there. And the weather so far is meant to be clear in ICELAND for some northern lights. So the total journey so far from Keflavik along the south coast, up the eastern fjords, and now at Eel Store, we've done about 470 to 500 miles, so about 50 to 55% of the ring road. Once we head to ICELAND, that'll be another stretch done. And here is the rest of today. That's not too bad. We've just arrived at Studleygill Canyon from ICELAND, and it was about an hour and a half's drive. The roads are snowy and steep, and there's quite deep canyons on the roads as you're driving along them, you know, the sides of the roads I should say, which makes it for a little bit of a hair-raising experience. The cars do manage well though with the winter tyres. We don't find that we're slipping or anything, but still, for me, a little bit nerve-wracking, even though I'm a confident driver. Driven in the snow loads back home, done my driving lessons in the snow. This time I feel a little bit more on edge, driving around. I suppose it's because of the remoteness of some of these places. So we're here at Studleygill Canyon. We're going to go and have a look. There's two viewpoints that we can see from the car park. There is a 1.5 mile hike, 3 miles round trip. I doubt we're going to be doing that because of the snow and whatnot, but we'll see how it goes. Right, so we're going to make the hike down to basically where the river is running through Studleygill Canyon, rather than just going to the viewpoints just off the main car park. We're going to see how the path goes, just because we think we might get some decent, much better views down there really. So we've got the crampons on. My crampons aren't faring too well. Probably got a couple of spikes left in each one. Part of the canyon that we can get to. This is probably the limit beyond where we can go because the stairs below have frozen over, and this is the canyon. I think the snow perhaps ruins it a little bit. In the summer I think it gives different colours and whatnot, but that still looks pretty nice. And somebody had a great idea for something in the ice on there. How
they managed to do that, I don't know. Driving from Eelstow to Myvarton and Arcury takes roughly 2.5 to 3 hours without stopping. It's a stunning transition from East Iceland's valleys into the moon-like volcanic fields of the north, ending in the cosy, charming capital of the north, Arcury. The landscape completely transforms when you're driving straight into the otherworldly volcanic heart of the Diamond Circle. Welcome to the Myvarton area. It feels like you're stepping onto another planet. Bubbling mud pools, steaming vents, and vast rugged lava fields carved out by ancient eruptions of the incredible Krafla volcano. The ground is painted in vibrant ochres, yellows and deep reds due to the rich mineral deposits left by this area's violent volcanic history. You'll see massive steam vents, plumes shooting into the air, and bubbling grey pits of boiling mud. The sounds otherworldly. The earth actively rumbles here due to the Krafla volcano. The hissing of steam vents or fumaroles creates a deafening roar. It's intensely sensory, and you'll absolutely be able to smell the sulphur synonymous with Iceland. You'll want to stick to the wooden boardwalks in this area and signposted trails to avoid the boiling mud and scalding steam or the big cracks in the earth. Havira was by far one of the best places that we visited in Iceland. So we're here at Demiborga, and all these things what you can see behind them, and they're not stacked up old lava, they're crunched up old lava from the lava fields. I've just read on the notice board there that they're the same fumaroles what we saw just a few minutes ago in Havia, where the steam's pouring out the top. That's what these are, just older and bigger. After our wander around Demiborga, we took the short drive over to Skutstaðarjökull to look at the pseudo craters caused by lava flown over the wetlands in the area and causing huge steam explosions, resulting in these beautiful pseudo craters. The snow, however, took away all of the beautiful colour of the area. After a thrilling day in the Myvarton area, we eventually arrived in Arcury, the capital city of the north, with its wonderful charm. We arrived at our hotel in the centre of Arcury, Hotel Centrum. The staff were lovely and friendly, and the room was fantastic and modern. We grabbed some food in Backpackers in Arcury. The food was absolutely incredible and the price was very reasonable for the quality of food. And for the rest of the night we stood and watched
a fantastic display of the Aurora Borealis in the centre of Arcueil, putting an end to a magical day with a magical display of the Northern Lights. Arcueil certainly didn't disappoint. So me and Ben are in Arcueil. We've been in the hotel, we've been waiting for the clouds to clear, and it has cleared and the aurora has gone to major levels, and we're busy watching it now. It's up above, we're swirling around. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. It looks awesome over there. There's not a lot of dark skies at this particular point, so we're trying to make the best of a situation, but it's definitely there overhead and it's looking pretty cool. Not bad. Second aurora of the trip. Right, so day 5, we're in Arcueil still. We're here for 2 days. So yesterday was the first day. We arrived in pretty good time. We got checked in. There was a few initial teething problems with the room, but you know, it's nice, it's comfortable. It's got a few down, a few floors, but yeah, it's fine. Breakfast was lovely this morning there. We had a bit of a lie-in because it's been a long trip. We've done lots of driving, been quite tired, so I had a little bit of a lie-in, a little bit of a later start this morning because we got up quite late last night watching the Northern Lights, which were brilliant, really good. So the weather's going to be okay today, I think. Tonight I'm not sure if we're expecting much in the way of cloud cover for further Northern Lights, but we have a fairly relaxed day planned today. We're en route now to Godafoss, which is about, I don't know, 45 minutes away, something like that. We're not going through the tunnel that links Arcueil to that kind of side of Godafoss because things are expensive out here and we're trying to save money where we can, so we're just doing a little bit of a longer route instead of going round going through the tunnel. I think it was about 10 or 12 quid or something like that, the tunnel, for one passage through it, which is expensive. Yeah, so we ate last night in the Backpacker, which was a couple of doors down from the Centrum Hotel where we're staying, and the food was lovely, really nice. Wasn't badly priced either. Really nice atmosphere in there. So yeah, that was a good little visit. So yeah, en route to Godafoss. There's a couple of little waterfalls nearby, Ben says, so we're gonna have a little look at them. And we can't go to Dedifoss because the roads are still impassable. Well, this afternoon we're going to take it easy and we're going to go to Forest Lagoon, which is here in Arcueil. Tomorrow we're leaving Arcueil and we're heading to Umstavangi, which is a little bit further to the west. Got a nice little cottage booked there, nice little cabin. The weather's going to be nice tomorrow apparently, and we've got a few nice stop-offs along the way. And then Wednesday is our last full day in Iceland. We're currently trying to see what the weather forecast is going to be like because we want to go to Ólafsvík on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula to do some whale watching because the orcas have been seen there for the past several days. We just need to find out what the weather's going to be like. Right, so after paying a little visit to the gift shop and the pay-per-use toilet, here's Godafoss. I guess that's the little Godafoss. It's free to park here though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, free to park, which is a rarity here. Look at that, man. Located roughly 45 minutes east of Arcueil along the ring road, Godafoss is a breathtaking spectacle during the colder months. The 12-metre high, 30-metre wide cascades are framed by massive glistening icicles and snow-dusted rock formations. Because the waterfall remains largely unfrozen despite the freezing temperatures, its milky blue waters crash loudly against the surrounding ice, causing chunks to break off loudly and fall into the river below. Visitors can wander the well-maintained trails to view the falls from both the east and western banks, taking in the dramatic contrast of the freezing mist against the stark white landscape. Heading back towards our Curie, Ben and I decided to stop off at Bonus, the North Rail supermarket, to pick up some provisions for our stay in Umstangi and our holiday cottage there. Bonus is cheap and cheerful, and you can pick up pretty much anything you need in this North Rail supermarket. It reminded me very much of Aldi back here in the UK. It was now time for Ben and I to head to Forest Lagoon for our evening at the spa. We're just heading into Forest Lagoon, Skoga Bod geothermal spa here in Curie. It looks pretty lush, to be honest, on the Google images and whatnot. It was 45 quid for each of us to go in the spa. The geothermal baths. We went in one last year, Fontana Spa, near Selfos, which was amazing. This place is only a few years old, and Ben checked out that it's been created because when they were drilling the tunnel through the mountain pass here in Curie, they came across hot spring. They came across geothermal water, and they created this spa as a result, which is pretty cool, pretty interesting. And here is Forest Lagoon. Just a 5-minute drive from downtown Curie, the Forest Lagoon offers a deeply relaxing geothermal escape, nestled into the Velasquez forest. It's Iceland's only spa completely surrounded by native birch trees and pine trees. Built directly into the hillside, the timber-panelled complex blends seamlessly into the natural landscape. Guests can soak in 2 massive infinity-edged geothermal pools that are maintained at a soothing 37 to 40 degrees Celsius. The tiered design makes you feel as though you are floating directly above the town of Curie. The icy waters of the plunge pool offers a stark contrast to the hot geothermal water. The complex features 2 swim-up bars serving local beers and wines, a plunge pool, and a traditional Finnish dry sauna, with large glass windows in the sauna to allow you to enjoy the snowy panoramic forest and fjord views. We would highly recommend visiting Forest Lagoon if you are in Curie. You won't be disappointed. The road trip from Curie to Umstangi in February is a breathtaking journey through some of Iceland's most dramatic coastal landscapes. Sweeping around the mountainous Trollgaski Peninsula, this route combines frozen fjords, historic fishing villages, ancient turf structures, and the ultimate Arctic reward, a night under the blazing northern lights. The winter scenery is stark and magnificent in the north. The dark, icy waters of the fjord reflect the snow-capped peaks that rise steeply on either side. As you drive north on Route 82, the road opens up towards Dalvik. This quiet fishing village is blanketed in thick snow, its harbour dotted with sturdy vessels cutting through the sea ice. It serves as a perfect pit stop to grab a hot coffee and admire the view. We then arrived at the snowy, windy Grafakirkja, Iceland's oldest turf church. It was one of the coldest, windiest days that we've had in Iceland. The wind was brutal and it cut through you like a knife. It's Grafakirkja, the oldest church in Iceland. And it's just off the ring road. About a 5-minute walk, if that, across the field. As you can see, the weather is pretty wild today, snowy, really cold and windy, but it looks really nice. It's quite a cute little thing. Whilst the interior of the church is closed in the winter months to preserve the delicate structure, standing outside in the absolute brutal winter of Iceland, looking closely at the intricate, ancient Baroque wood carvings on its exterior, feels incredibly profound and spiritual. In the north of Iceland, you navigate a series of dramatic mountain tunnels carved straight into the basalt rock, popping out between sheer cliffs that drop directly into the North Atlantic. Arriving in Siglufjörður, you find a town beautifully trapped in time and snow. Once the herring capital of the Atlantic, it sits tucked inside a narrow, deep fjord, surrounded by avalanche protection barriers that resemble giant frozen waves. In February, the colourful corrugated iron houses contrast vividly to the icy contrast of the mountains. The north feels deeply peaceful, isolated by the elements, and provides a hauntingly beautiful perspective of life at the edge of the Arctic Circle. So this is the furthest north in our ring road trip around Iceland. It's the northernmost point of our journey, and it's near a town called Siglufjörður. And straight ahead is the Arctic Circle. Somewhere off the coast there is Grimsey Island, and that is the Arctic Circle, and all the way behind me is the rest of Iceland. So this is the furthest north that we're coming. It's wild. We decided to make one last stop on our tour towards Humstangi. Kalugafoss was one of the disappointments on the trip, completely and utterly frozen over. As we neared Humstangi, the weather started to improve, and the prospect of seeing the Northern Lights tonight also improved. Throughout the entire trip, we reserved the final day for the prospect that the volcano might erupt on the Reykjanes Peninsula. There was still hope. This was very exciting to see. Even the locals stopped and took pictures. So this is our accommodation for night 5. It's in Humstangi, and it's a beautiful little cottage. There's a few of them. They're in the middle of nowhere. Well, they're next to the little town Humstangi, which is about a 5-minute drive just down the path there. But this is ours. This is number 5. It's a little log cabin, and it's got a couple of beds in, sofas, little kitchenette, bathroom. And it's lovely. We've already taken all the stuff in, getting warmed up after a long drive. It's been wild today with the weather. Going over the mountains and stuff like that was stressful, to say the least. We went to a couple of stops on the way. The old church, which was fabulous, but the weather was a nightmare. It was pretty harsh weather. And then we went to a waterfall, which we didn't last more than a few minutes at because it was frozen. It was nice to look at, but because of how wild the weather was, we packed up and came here. We were going to go to a rock stack about half an hour away, but the weather's just too wild. It's starting to settle down a little bit now. It is set to clear up tonight, and we could see the Northern Lights potentially, but this is the little cottage. Nestled just outside of the secluded town Humstangi, the log cabin held the warmth of the evening, shutting out the frigid Icelandic air. In the kitchen, I'm preparing a rich bolognese for myself and Ben. The cosy room is filled with the comforting aroma of garlic, herbs and tomatoes, and through the large glass windows the darkening sky over Humstangi stretches out like a vast black canvas. We watch a movie, checking and waiting for that first faint ribbon of green to pierce the Arctic darkness. It's the perfect quiet pause. Good food, a good movie, and the thrilling anticipation of nature's greatest light show. It's beautiful clear skies and the northern lights are dancing behind me. You can't see them on my phone camera, but I've got the camera set up and we've got a log cabin just behind her, and the northern lights are putting on a fantastic display. Because Humstangi is completely removed from city light pollution, it serves as an exceptional front row seat to the aurora. Around midnight, a faint milky ribbon of white light begins to stretch across the sky. Within minutes, the solar activity intensifies and the ribbon ignites into a vibrant electric green curtain of light. The aurora begins to dance, twisting and rippling across the stars from horizon to horizon. We stand out on the cabin's wood deck in the freezing Arctic air, completely spellbound by the silent, majestic celestial show dancing directly overhead. This is the start of day 6, our last full day in Iceland. We're just leaving Humstangi and we've got a nice sunrise going on there. The Humstangi cottages that we stayed in last night, the little cabins, were brilliant, really nice, very comfortable, very warm, they had everything that you needed in them, in a nice remote part of the little town that we're at, Humstangi. And then last night, just as it got dark, the skies cleared and we got a good few hours worth of the northern lights, which were spectacular, really great for the sea, brilliant for the sea on our last night really, considering when we head back towards Reykjavik tonight, it's going to be pretty cloudy I think, so I don't think we're going to be able to see the northern lights tonight. But we're currently en route to Hvítaskjua rock stack, just to the north of us. It's about 45 minutes away from Humstangi. We're going to go there. We were going to go yesterday, but the weather wasn't on our side really. We're going to go this morning, get a couple of nice photos. The tide should be out. We're going to go there, get a couple of quick pictures, and then we're going to head straight to Ólafsvík on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. I visited Snæfellsnes a few times now. We went last year to see Kirkjufell Mountain, and now we're going to go to Ólafsvík, which is a little bit further up the coast from Kirkjufell, and we're going to do some whale watching. We're going to try and see some killer whales. It's been all over Facebook about a pod of killer whales at Ólafsvík over the past couple of weeks, and we've been in communication with the tour company Laki to try and get booked on the tour for today. It's been a bit dicey to be honest because of the weather. They've had to cancel trips, rearrange them, and we've managed to get 2 spaces on their trip. Hopefully it doesn't get cancelled because the weather isn't going to be ideal today across Snæfellsnes or Reykjavik. So hopefully we'll get to Ólafsvík. It's nice clear calm weather and we'll get to see some killer whales, because that would be a fantastic end to our last full day in Iceland on this epic ring road adventure. The ring road cuts through sweeping valleys of unbroken white, where frozen rivers snake through fields of deep snowdrifts. The dramatic mountain spines of West Iceland rise sharply against the heavy, slate grey winter sky. The cold is biting and the wind kicks up wisps of dry powder across the tarmac as we make our way towards the historic fishing port.
Right, so we've just arrived at Havita Skewer, just pulled up in the car park. It looks like we're the first people here, and it's ridiculously icy. I've just went down like a sack of spuds. I've got one crampon. My crampons haven't fared well this trip. I lost most of my studs within the first day or two, and I've got one stud on one of them and about 3 on the other. Ben's got a full set and he slipped on the, well, not slipped, but he was sliding a little bit on the ice. So I'm just taking it easy, but it's very, very icy here at Havita Skewer. If I make it to the rock stack, I'll show you it.
Definitely the first one to get.
Well, there's no bodies lying on there.
No.
Nobody's stupid enough. There's us. Nearly. Havita Skewer.
Unfortunately, the volcano on the Reykjanes Peninsula wasn't going to erupt while we were in Iceland, so we opted for whale watching in Snæfellsnes instead.
Here we are at Snæfellsnes, Lucky Tours. So we're off on a killer whale tour, Orgas, here at the Snæfellsnes in Olavsvik. Okay, so we're just getting back from our boat trip with Lucky Tours. We didn't see any killer whales, which was a little bit disappointing, but you know, it's nature, you can't guarantee that they're going to be visible, that they're going to show or anything like that. It was a nice boat trip out, got to see some dolphins, and because we didn't see any killer whales or any whales in general, they give you a voucher for to come back anytime while the company's in existence, which I think is pretty good, pretty reasonable. So yeah, the next time I come to Iceland I'll take them up on that offer, but it was great. It's about 85-90 quid each for this tour, and they give you some nice warm suits that are clean, dry. They do help, and the staff are really helpful and friendly as well. So Lucky Tours in Olavsvik, pay them a visit if you're in Iceland.
As we head back towards Keflavik for our early morning flight, the weather deteriorated at a terrifying speed, and as we reached the Borgans area, driving became incredibly difficult. Traffic crawled along at a snail's pace, the yellow road markers disappearing in the thick, heavy snow.
Right, so we've just came back from the Snæfellsnes Peninsula and we're in a blizzard at the moment. We've stopped at the Borgans N1. I've been here a couple of times. They do the best fish and chips. It's a lovely little stop off the Borgans N1, but it's a blizzard here, and we're heading back towards Reykjavik and Keflavik because we've got a hotel there tonight, so it's nice and easy to get up early for the airport. But that is the ring road, 95% complete. This epic Iceland adventure is nearly over.
The drive back to Keflavik was probably one of the scariest drives I've ever done in my life. We considered at one point stopping the car by the roadside, putting the hazard lights on and waiting for the snow to settle down, but we ploughed on, and when we got through the tunnel that links Borgans to the capital region, the snow finally settled. but the video here doesn't do it justice how heavy the snow was and how scary it actually was. I felt at some point that the steering wheel was bent out of shape with how tightly I was gripping it. As I drove through Reykjavik, the snow finally turned to rain and sleet. Our final stop, which is the Hotel Kronen in Keflavik. It was, I think, about 80 or 90 quid for the night with some discount that we got off. It's very nice on first glance, very clean, very modern. All we need is somewhere just to rest our head for the night. Beautiful bathroom. Gorgeous bathroom, in fact. As we concluded our ring road adventure, we reminisced fondly of having explored the dramatic south coast, standing beneath towering waterfalls, and were lucky enough to witness the northern lights dancing above Vestrahorn, the alien beauty of Maivarten. I am disappointed that we didn't get to see a volcano erupt, but there's always next time. The East Fjords, the North, Arcuri, the Diamond Circle were a real treat to experience. We love Iceland, and we're sad to be leaving, but we can't wait to return to the land of fire and ice.